welcome to another edition of Chasing That Paper presented by VegasInsider.com, where today we are representing the 3-0 Miami Dolphins. I don't know if you heard about it, but they beat the favorite to win the Super Bowl there yesterday. Two straight wins as an underdog for the Dolphins. We're also celebrating a 6-0 day from Ian McMillan and I on Friday's episode of Chasing That Paper. Yeah, we broke down our 6 favorite NFL bets. We hit all 6 of them, so how about that? And as we always say, make sure you parlay all of our picks around here. No, do not do that. But yeah, a great day for Ian and I. We will bring him in, my co-host for the day here, Bet-Sided, senior editor over there. So Ian, let's mix it up right off the bat. So I brought up my Miami Dolphins off to a 3-0 start. Thrilling victory yesterday. Now, here's my issue with you, Ian. I believe you came on this program and you said not just one of your favorite bets, your favorite futures bet was for the Dolphins to go under their win total. And here we are, off to a 3-0 start. The Miami Dolphins went through a very difficult part of their schedule. Now look at their next 8 games on the schedule here, Ian, and let me know how you feel about your under bet. Bengals, Jets, Vikings, Steelers, Lions, Bears, Browns, Texans. That's their next 8 games. That looks like a 6-2 to me. Worst case scenario, 5-3. So the floor is yours right now to admit that you were wrong.
No, I'm not admitting I was wrong. I mean, yeah, it was a good game against the Bills. It was a miraculous comeback against the Ravens. But now they're going to stumble against teams that they should beat. So you listed off those teams right there. I bet you they go like 4-4, 3-5 against those 8 teams. Let's not forget, this defense stole 27th in the NFL in opponent yards per play. They can't stop anyone outside of the Bills occasionally yesterday. No, I'm sticking to that take. I still think they're going to go under their win total and miss the playoffs.
How's the offense doing in that yard per play category, by the way? Any good at all? Happen to be in the top 3 of the NFL, maybe? Or
hey, the offense is only 50% of the game. You got to be strong on both sides of the ball.
Some absolute playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. Okay, that is enough shit talking from me. I was pretty modest about the Dolphins last week. Not anymore, though. 3-0. We'll talk a little bit more about them later on in the program. Okay, so kind of a big Monday Night Football game. Not really a sexy Monday Night Football game, to be completely fair. We got 4 total picks for that. Going to be talking some Major League Baseball and then recapping a little bit of what we saw yesterday in the NFL. So let's get right into the action here. Dallas Cowboys in New Jersey to take on the Giants tonight. My best bet for this game, 39.5. I'm taking the under. Got that bet over at BetMGM as of this morning. So some pretty nice highlights on defense for each of these teams to start the season here. Dallas tied for 6th in yards per play allowed versus Tom Brady and Joe Burrow, by the way. Pretty impressive. Each has been strong in the red zone and on third down. Giants, number 1 third down defense in the NFL. That's pretty convenient because neither of these teams can convert on third down. Offensively, they rank 27th and dead last in third down conversion percentage. Expect a lot of punting in this one. It's going to be an uncomfortable night for both quarterbacks, too. These teams rank last and second to last in QB pressure percentage allowed, 3rd and 4th in pressure percentage created on the defensive end. Look at this tear here for the Giants. 11-2 under tear. 9 of those games saw 39 or fewer points. 12-0-1 to the under in their last 13 home games. I like the trend to continue. We got the stats to back it up. Give me the under! Between Cowboys, Giants. Ian, what are you looking at in this game tonight?
Yeah, I am going to back the Cowboys. Now, I got them at a good line, +3 earlier in the week, or last week, I should say. They're down to +1. I still like them at that number because I actually think they should be favored in this game. And a big reason why is because of their defense, Joe. Their defense has been fantastic through the first 2 weeks. 6th in opponent yards per play, keeping teams to average just 4.7 yards. Meanwhile, the Giants rank 17th in that stat, allowing 5.6 yards per play. And let's not forget, they haven't exactly played a couple of strong defenses in the first 2 weeks. They played the Titans and then the Panthers. And the biggest thing that I think is going to be the difference maker tonight is the Cowboys pass rush. They are tied for the lead in the NFL for most sacks per game at 4.0. And how many sacks are the Giants giving up per game? 4.0. So Micah Parsons in that Cowboys pass rush is going to be chasing Daniel Jones all around the field tonight. And finally, I'm not too sure if Cooper Rush is actually as bad as we assume that he is. So far in his career, 60.6% completion percentage. He's thrown 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception, 7.7 yards per pass attempt, and the Cowboys have also won both games that he started. Is he a great quarterback? No. Is he a good quarterback? Probably not. But I don't think he's as bad as a lot of us are assuming that he is. So I will take the Cowboys to cover the spread tonight against the Giants.
Cooper Rush, 2-0 in his last 2 starts. Ian, trend of the week. Right there. Yep. It's kind of funny that the Cowboys need to clarify, no, we don't have a quarterback controversy. The guy has started 1 game this season, to be completely fair. It's kind of funny that they have to clarify that. Okay, let's take a trip to Prop City, my favorite prop for this game. This looks like an easy one. The sportsbook's just giving away money. I'm going to take Micah Parsons to record a sack. That one's coming in at -110. So look what he's done this season. He already has 4 sacks. Clearly one of the best defenders in the league, an absolute monster. This is clearly a huge part of Dallas's game plan. He is the 2nd highest graded pass rusher over at Pro Football Focus, right behind Myles Garrett. So a big part of the game plan would be for Garrett to be in the backfield, harassing the quarterback. You should have an easy time doing that versus the Giants. 8 sacks allowed in 2 games from them already this season, allowing the most pressure of any team in the NFL so far this season. Ian, what's your favorite prop for the Monday Nighter?
I'm looking at a running back receiving prop. Tony Pollard. We struggled, or I struggled before the show, Joe, pronouncing this name. It should not be this difficult. I don't know if my Canadian accent or what, but Pollard. Over 17. Pollard. Tony Pollard.
Everyone knows it's Pollard. I'm just messing with you. I don't know.
Over 7. Yeah, I don't know why I struggled with it. Tony Pollard. Over 17.5 receiving yards tonight. Already through the first 2 weeks, we have seen an increase of usage for Tony Pollard. His carries went up from 6 to 9 from week 1 to week 2, and even more importantly for this bet, his targets went up from only 2 in week 1 to 7 last week. And I'm surprised how low this total is tonight, because this is a guy who averaged 34.5 receiving yards per game last season, way above his set total for tonight. They love to use this guy in the passing game, this guy they call Tony Pollard. To further prove this point, I already mentioned 7 targets last week, 4 receptions, and 55 receiving yards. Can someone please explain to me why his receiving total is so low tonight for Tony Pollard? I'll take over 17.5 for receiving yards for him tonight.
Tony. Is it Tony or Tony? I don't know.
That's a great question. It might be Tony. We don't know.
Tony Pollard fella here on the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, from the football field to the baseball field. Slim pickings tonight in Major League Baseball, but a couple of spots that we like. I'm going to start with the Orioles team total. I'm going to take them to go over 4.5, coming in at -115. So I usually been sticking to pitcher props here, but we see this guy, Connor Seabold, on the man here for the Red Sox. And the question becomes, how do you fade this guy? Well, just take the other team to go over their team total. In this case, Orioles 4.5. This guy, Seabold, is getting absolutely shit-canned here so far this season. A 10.47 ERA in 4 appearances with an insane 2.20 whip. He is allowing a lot of traffic on the bases here tonight. Very nice stretch for the Orioles versus right-handed pitching. They are 2nd in OPS versus righties over the last 2 weeks. And of course, the Red Sox bullpen is absolute bullshit. Been one of the worst bullpens in baseball all season long here. Take a look at them over the last 2 weeks. 29th in xFIP. Very inefficient. So give me the O's to get at least 5 across tonight at Fenway Park. Ian, what are you liking in the big leagues?
Yeah, I'm looking at a pitcher prop for the big game tonight between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Luis Severino going to go under 4.5 strikeouts tonight. Heading into tonight's game, the Blue Jays have the 5th lowest strikeout rate against right-handed pitchers this season in Major League Baseball at just 20.3%. That mark drops even further down to 18.1% when you look at their numbers just this month. And yes, I'll admit it, if you look at Severino's numbers against the Blue Jays this season, this bet may not look that great. But there is one key difference, and that is his first 3 starts against the Blue Jays all occurred at Yankee Stadium. This one is not at Yankee Stadium, and his strikeout rate falls off a cliff when he pitches away from home. It drops from 11 strikeouts per 9 innings at home all the way down to 8.7 strikeouts per 9 innings on the road. He's also failed to reach this number in 3 of his last 4 starts. So this is my favorite pitcher prop of the night. Luis Severino, under 4.5 strikeouts.
Marino, I'm a little conflicted there, Ian. I am a Blue Jays fan, of course, as you know. However, I am in the finals of my fantasy baseball league, and I got Severino on the bump tonight. And I don't want to go against you on your prop, so maybe I'll take him to throw 9 innings, only get 4 strikeouts, though, and the Blue Jays win 1-0 in extra innings.
Beautiful.
So that way you can rack up at least a couple points for me. Okay, so that was 6 total picks from Ian and I for tonight's action. If you're looking for a place to place these bets at, then I highly recommend placing them over at BetMGM. So kick off the new pro football season with the king of sportsbooks. From now until this Thursday, sign up with BetMGM using bonus code VIBONUS50. That's VIBONUS50, all one word, and you'll receive $50 free on sign up and a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's VIBONUS50, all one word, no spaces, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Yeah! All right, Ian, so let's recap a little bit of what we saw there yesterday on the NFL football field. I'll give you a take on a few things, and then you can give me your take on my take. And let's start here. Can we finally admit that Jimmy Garoppolo just flat out sucks? Did we see him last night pulling off the Dan Orlovsky, stepping out of bounds through the other end of the end zone, the safety, which pretty much cost his team the game. If that didn't cost the 49ers the game, he threw an awful interception in a triple coverage. We saw him skip a couple off the ground here. Zero awareness whatsoever from this guy. Totally protected from the system that he's in. And it's funny how the narrative kind of shifted on Garoppolo a little bit. You know, multiple times over the past couple seasons, 49ers fans just couldn't wait to drive this guy to the airport because he cannot be trusted in a big spot. Yeah, you have media personalities and fans lining up and volunteering different teams. Oh, the Browns should trade for Garoppolo. The Panthers should. The Commanders should. Some complete total morons were saying that my Miami Dolphins should be trading for Jimmy Garoppolo. But this is a guy, like I said, he is protected by the system, and he cannot be trusted in a big spot. So what do you think, Ian? Does Jimmy Garoppolo suck, or am I way off base here?
I could not disagree with you more, Joe. I don't think he sucks at all. I think that's a wild take after one bad game against the Broncos. Yeah, he didn't look great last night. Broncos defense looked good. Also, don't forget, this is his first start this year. He went through all preseason and all training camp as the backup. That is a big difference to then step back into a starter role. It's going to take him a little bit of time, but let's not forget his quarterback rating over the last 3 years, 102, 92.4. 98.7 last year when he also led the NFL in yards per completion. So is he a top-tier quarterback? No. Is he a great quarterback? Nah, probably not. He's certainly a good quarterback, though. You saying that he sucks is a massive overreaction to one game last night. He's good. Not great. He's good. That's what he is.
Oh, he's protected by the system. 49ers fans can't wait to drive this guy to the airport. There's a reason they just gave the job to a completely unproven Trey Lance, but yeah, we'll debate that a lot throughout the course of the season, I'm sure. Okay, take number 2. The Jaguars are actually good. The Jaguars are a respectable football team here, Ian. You know, you can't just dismiss their last 2 wins because the other team had injuries on their side of the field. Injuries are a pretty big part of the game, and it's how they're winning, too. They're not just squeaking by in these games. Of course, they completely shut out the Colts at home there last week. Then they beat the Chargers by 28 points. Ian, 28 points on the field, traveling cross country to beat a team that many predicted to represent the AFC here in the Super Bowl. So here we have them going into week 4, a 7-point underdog in Philadelphia, the Doug Peterson revenge game. So what do we think? Are the Jaguars any good, or are they a bit of a fraud?
I think the Jaguars are acceptable or respectable. I don't think they're good. They rank 12th in yards per play, 13th in opponent yards per play. They're certainly better than they were last season. I'm not going to crown them a good team yet, but I think it's safe to say that they're not going to have the first overall pick next year. Also, my cat Daisy, she just walked across screen while you were talking, Joe. Big Jaguars fan. She's very happy with them this year. So they're taking a step forward. Urban Meyer just killed them last year. Doug Peterson seems to be a much better coach. I'm not calling them good yet. They're respectable. They're an average team.
Okay, Ian, so my bad beat of the week. I've been having some god-awful ones through 3 weeks, and they're all coming on teaser legs. You know, teasers used to be my bread and butter, if you recall, back at a previous stop that Ian had and I had. So, yeah, with the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, they totally outplayed the Colts in that game, if you want to look at yards per play and a couple other stats, but no one is scared of the Kansas City Chiefs anymore. Boneheaded plays on both sides of the field, boneheaded play calling, boneheaded coaching. You know, people talk about Belichick losing his fastball. I think you can say the exact same thing about Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy here. Just 17 points scored yesterday. The offense only scored 20 points versus the Chargers in the previous game. Take a look at Patrick Mahomes outside of the first 3 quarters versus the Cardinals. He's been pretty average here this season. If you recall in that Chargers game, a couple his passes should have been intercepted by LA in that game, but they weren't. So we have them here favored by 2.5 in Tampa Bay. So what do we think here, Ian? Are teams scared of the Kansas City Chiefs anymore?
I think they should be. I think you're having a little overreaction Monday, Joe. Yeah, it wasn't a great game by the Chiefs for sure. But let's not forget, I mean, even the year that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, they lost 4 games. One of those games was to the Texans, where they only put up 24 points. They lost to the Colts one game that season. They only put up 13 points. They're going to be fine. I will say I was a little bit concerned about the coaching decisions, as you mentioned, Joe. Eric Bieniemy did not try to score at the end of the first half. Patrick Mahomes seems upset with that. And then what's Andy Reid doing running a fake field goal? Like, if you're going to try to go for it on 4th down, you have the best quarterback in the NFL. Just run a play. Why are you throwing the ball with your kicker on 4th down? That's an all-time bonehead move. He probably should just kick the field goal regardless. So I am a little bit concerned about the coaching decisions, but I think this is just a bump in the road for the Chiefs. They certainly aren't as explosive as they were the past couple seasons with Tyreek Hill, but they'll be all right. They're still going to be a 1 seed, a 2 seed, at worst a 3 seed in the AFC, so they'll be fine. Bump in the road.
Yeah, they'll be 2 or 3 behind the Dolphins and another team, I'm sure, once we get to the end of the season. I can't believe I lost that teaser leg on them, though. It's funny, I'm watching the game on Red Zone. I have the Dolphins on my main screen and Red Zone on the other one, and I see Kansas City, they get that sack towards the end of the 4th quarter. It might have been 6 minutes left, whatever it was. And then I'm like, yes, the Colts are going to have to punt. It's 4-15 here. This is absolutely incredible. And I'm, counting my money, thinking that the ticket's going to cash. And then I check the app on my phone, and we see that the Colts have the ball, and they're driving towards the red zone. I'm like, what the hell happened here? And Chris Jones, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Absolute and total bullshit on that one.
That is what you get for betting against my baby boy, Matty Ice Ryan. He comes through in the clutch when he needs to and took down the Kansas City Chiefs by himself.
Oh, he played like dog shit. He's like a mannequin back there, If you can generate any type of pass rush on Matt Ryan, he's not going to have a whole lot of success.
Yeah,
okay, so my final take here, Ian. This is an incredible storyline we're going to have for the Super Bowl this season. Tua versus Hurts in the Super Bowl. What a storyline we have. The history these two guys have at Alabama. 2 big-time Alabama receivers for both of these teams. So how do we feel about the fact that Tua and Hurts will be playing in the Super Bowl this year?
This is a take that I'm seeing on Twitter. I don't know if you're being ironic or not, because I'm seeing this all the time on Twitter this season. It's not something I remember happening in the past, that like when a team wins a game, people are like, oh, it's going to be fun when they're in the Super Bowl. Like last week, it was like, oh, the city won't survive an Eagles versus Bills Super Bowl. And then the Dolphins win, and now they're all like, oh, the Dolphins versus Eagles Super Bowl. What a storyline that's going to be. It's like, it's week 3, guys. Let's settle down on the Super Bowl talk here. Holy moly.
Yeah, I am flying high, Ian, and not too many days to dine out on this one because the Dolphins have a quick turnaround. Of course, they play Thursday night versus Bengals. And hey, Cincinnati, you better watch out. This isn't the New York Jets coming into town to play. This is a high-flying offense. The offense wasn't on the field a lot for Miami in that game either, so their defense might be beat up a little bit, but maybe not so much on the offensive side of the ball. And full disclosure here, I'm not predicting that the Dolphins will in the Super Bowl. My opinion is the same. A major win for the Dolphins would be this season is getting into the playoffs and being competitive in a playoff game. Baby steps, but as a fan of the Miami Dolphins, hey, it's pretty good. I got people calling me and people I haven't heard from in years reaching out to me to congratulate me. I had a falling out with my dad 15 years ago. I haven't spoken to him in 15 years. He calls me yesterday. We're going to go bowling before the Thursday nighter and watch the Dolphins-Bengals game. So thanks to my dad for that. And hello, Dad, if you are watching. Okay, if you love what we do here at Vegas Insider, you're going to want to check out our brand new Vegas Insider app. We've got up-to-date, easy-to-navigate odds for every major sport. We have all our latest shows, best bet videos, and podcasts, props, trends, futures, news, all on the Vegas Insider app. Download the Vegas Insider app right now on Apple and Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. Woo! How about that? Okay, let's get into our viewer pick segment of the show. Guys, I put out this tweet every morning. Make sure if you want to get on the show, you got to give a best bet breakdown. If you get on here and you just say Cowboys +1, we need to know the reasons for why you were picking them. So we'll ask producer Tito to bring up the first one here. This is for from Blind Taylor Picks. He's looking ahead here to week 4 game. I'm sure Ian has some interest in. He likes the Colts -3 versus the Titans. Tennessee has gotten beat on the ground every week, and 2 of those weeks were against teams that don't even like to run. Good luck against Jonathan Taylor on the road. -3 implies that odds makers rate Indiana as just 1 point better than Tennessee. He disagrees. Ian, how do you feel about the game here in Blind Taylor's handicap?
Yeah, I've already locked in this bet, Joe. I actually am on the Colts -3 as well here. The Titans are, now that the Titans just beat the Raiders, now is a good time to continue to fade them because the Titans are truly a bottom 5 team in the NFL, and we'll see that by the end of the year. The Colts are going to handle them with ease on Sunday. So yeah, I'm already on the Colts.
Oh, I was kind of, I think that was at 3.5 last night, and I was kind of eyeing the Titans as a potential teaser. We will see. Okay, next up we got our guy Nick's Picks weighing in here. Nick's giving us a couple winners. He's kind of aligned with me here. He likes the Orioles as a +112 dog. 2-unit bet. I'll give all the numbers, but I'll keep it simple today. Versus right-handed pitching, a tie. Baltimore defensive end. Lyles over Seabold. Yeah, Seabold absolutely stinks. So Boston has nothing but pride to play for. And Baltimore has had grit all season long. Also, Connor Seabold is horrific. So he's going with the pride and grit angle. Ian, how do you feel about that?
That's the number one thing that you should look at when handicapping picks is pride, motivation, ego. Anything that you can't measure are the things that you should look at first when handicapping games.
One thing I will say to Nick and anyone that's listening, now I don't disagree with this handicap, but the thing about Boston has nothing but pride to play for, you always have to keep in mind at this point of the season, people always question motivation. There's got to be a handful of guys playing on the Red Sox and even coaches on the coaching staff who are playing and coaching for their jobs next season. Potential free agents, guys wanting to get extensions, guys wanting not to get sent down to the minors. So you got to keep that in mind. There should be motivation for both teams here tonight. Producer Tito, bring us home here with our final pick from the CTP crew. This aligns pretty good with Ian, actually. He likes a Tony Pollard. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Over 2.5 receptions. Giants have let running backs in both games get 4 catches, and game flow should favor dump-offs too. I'm not even going to attempt that last name. He also had 7 targets last week. Ian, do you want to take another shot at pronouncing the Cowboys running back's name? I don't want to embarrass myself any further here.
I think it's Tony Pollard. I believe the L's are silent in the last name. It's a very French name, I believe. Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I believe he is the only player from France on an NFL roster. So congratulations to him. I'm sure the entire nation of France will be up watching the game tonight. Okay, so now it is time. Yes, je peux parler français, as we discussed the other day. This is a bilingual sports betting program. Not many of them out here. Tell all your French friends to tune in to the show here. So it's time for today's Handicapper Heat Check, presented by VegasInsider.com, your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Today we recognize AAA Sports, who can be found on Twitter at AAA Sports Plays. AAA Sports had a 4-1 record on Sunday, extending their NFL win streak to 11-3 in their last 14 picks. Don't miss their Monday Night Football pick and player prop by visiting VegasInsider.com/picks or clicking on the AAA Sports promo on the Vegas Insider homepage. That's your Handicapper Heat Check. Stay hot, bettors. Indeed. Okay. So what's coming up here at Vegas Insider? You're going to want to check out our Twitter Spaces. Make sure you are following Vegas Insider on Twitter. Those go off an hour before the game. A lot of sides, totals, props, picks from some of the personalities here at Vegas Insider. Down to the wire with Kevin Rogers. That's also at, I think that's 6 p.m. Eastern. I should know that. But check that out right here on the Vegas Insider YouTube page. Of course, I will be back tomorrow. Going to be a big day for Major League Baseball picks. I think I'm flying solo tomorrow. Ian, I got to ask, Ian won't be with us in his traditional spot on Thursday. He has a course appearance that he cannot miss. We won't get into why he is appearing in court and what he's been charged for. But a lot of Dolphins talk on the show here, Ian, today. Of course, the Dolphins play on Thursday night. Do you have an early lean or even a pick for that game?
Yeah, I do have a pick. I've already locked it in, so I'll give it out here early. How about that? Little early pick for Thursday Night Football. I'm going to go with the over 47.5 between these two teams. The over is only 1-2 in Dolphins games, but I think we're going to see some overs start to hit in Dolphins games because very good offense, 6.4 yards per play on offense, which is the third highest mark. Defense, 6.3 yards given up per play on defense, 27th in the NFL. So strong offense, shitty defense, usually leads to overs. So I already have the over 47.5 locked in for Thursday Night Football. A little sneak peek to my week 4 picks right there.
I am in alignment with you there, Ian. Quick turnaround for that Dolphins defense after spending all that time on the field. Don't forget they played in some humidity there too yesterday. So there you have it. Jam-packed Monday show of Chasing That Paper. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Good luck with your bets tonight, unless you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper.